Hello everyone! Look here, this is a newborn baby Tyrannosaurus Rex, and over there is a fully grown adult T-Rex, capable of destroying everything in its path. Today I'm going to conduct a crazy experiment. What would happen if we raised a T-Rex as a pet? We'll see what it likes to play with, what it eats, how to give it baths, and why this would ultimately become extremely dangerous. I'll build its habitat, teach it to swim, introduce it to other animals, and take you through every stage of its life. It's guaranteed to be wild. Right now, it's just an egg not even hatched yet. Currently, I'm providing 2 4-hour incubation for its egg to mimic what its mother would do in the wild. If you look closely, tiny cracks are forming on the shell. It could hatch any moment now. Look, it's coming out, it's hatching. Oh my gosh, look at it, how is this possible? It's the cutest apex predator I've ever seen. It loves sleeping, but for everyone's sake, I'll wake it up. Hey little one, wake up. It's so tiny teeth, short neck feathers, and a head that looks a bit big compared to its body, but it's curious about everything. Don't let that baby face fool you, it'll grow into a nightmare. The latter part of the video explains why. Now I'll show you its earliest days and its very first task: hygiene. That's right, I'm teaching a dinosaur to brush its teeth every morning. We've established a little dental care routine since it's still a baby. Bath time happens in a plastic tub, no giant pools or fancy fences, just a simple little basin. But it absolutely loves it, splashing around and even trying to bite the water. But the funniest part? This little guy discovered the vacuum cleaner and treated it like a toy. When not playing with the vacuum, it loved watching cartoons just like a normal baby, only with teeth. I know what you're thinking. It's so well behaved, not aggressive at all, basically like a puppy. Yes, but as the video progresses, that will change. It won't stay this friendly forever. But now it's feeding time. Since it's growing and needs tons of calories, I wanted to see what it likes. For some reason, pancakes became its absolute favorite thing in the world. The way it devoured them, you'd think it had never eaten anything before in its life. But then something unexpected happened. The moment I turned my back, this dinosaur grabbed an entire watermelon and started devouring it without permission, like it had just paid rent. Then it rolled around on the floor, covered in sticky watermelon juice. So even as a baby, it's already causing trouble. Later in the video, its meals will get bigger and pricier, but for now, it's still small and needs entertainment. For the first few days, its bed was a shoebox. It slept inside it. But as it grew, that clearly wasn't a long-term solution. So I decided to buy it a toy to see if it could figure out how to play. I gave it a rubber ball. It looked at me as if to say, "What do you want me to do with this?" But it eventually got the hang of it. Speaking of cats, I introduced it to one, figuring if it could get along with a cat, it could probably handle anything. Surprisingly, they became friends quickly. But honestly, there were some cringe-worthy moments too, because despite its tiny teeth, it still loved to chew on everything: furniture, shoelaces, the remote, and toys. Later in the video, you'll see some scenes that are both hilarious and terrifying, because as it grows older, this habit doesn't fade, it only gets worse. I need to teach it something crucial: how to walk on a leash, because yes, you can walk a dinosaur. I got it a little harness and leash, expecting chaos, but it handled it surprisingly well, wandering around, sniffing everywhere, even trying to eat grass. For now, it's only allowed in the yard, but one day it got too confident. It spotted the fence, climbed up, and then fell off the top. It wasn't hurt, but it felt pretty embarrassed. That's when I realized, okay, we need a better setup soon. But before that, I planned its first public outing because if I'm raising it like a kid, I've got to take it places. So I brought it to the supermarket, which was the most fun. I put it in the shopping cart and it sat there like a little dinosaur prince. It kept trying to grab things off the shelves. It wanted everything: fruit, bread, meat, snacks. So we filled the cart with all the foods it wanted to try. Then I spotted something. I couldn't resist: a pair of ridiculous dinosaur pajamas. Yep, I bought them and it loved them. Those pajamas became its favorite thing. It ran around the house in them like any ordinary kid. But the thing is, it wasn't an ordinary kid. It grew more comfortable outdoors, so I started taking it for walks in public places. This led to something unexpected. Kids at the playground noticed it and wanted to play. Picture this: a T-Rex at the playground. The kids tried teaching it to skateboard. Hilarious. It'd put one foot on the board and immediately fall over and over. Never got the hang of it. Honestly, that clumsiness stuck with it for life. Even when it grew massive later in the video, it remained awkward just with the power to destroy things. Alright, now let's fast forward. Because over the next few months, it just kept growing and growing and growing. Suddenly, it wasn't a pet anymore, it became a problem. It started eating human-sized meals, then meals bigger than humans. The bigger it got, the more trouble it caused. It loved running through the streets, which sounds fun, but when you realize there's a T-Rex running through the streets, people scream, cars slam on their brakes, dogs go crazy, and people drop whatever they're holding. It wasn't even trying to scare anyone, it was just full of energy and a bit clumsy. But now the bathtub was too small, its little tub gone, so it found its favorite spot, a nearby lake. It would wade into the lake and swim for hours, and that's when it started hunting. At first, it just splashed around, then chased fish and eventually started catching them. Once it realized fish were food, it became obsessed. Thus, its diet changed. At home, it still ate meat, but by the lake, it became a fisherman. The problem was, it was too big for this community. Thus, the next phase of its life had to come, a specialized dinosaur park. A place built specifically for dinosaurs with more space, security, and facilities, and its first time interacting with other dinosaurs.
Secure and stable.
So I transported it there. The park featured massive fenced areas, pools, shade structures, caves, and feeding zones perfect. But there was a problem. My T-Rex was aggressive. It didn't want neighbors, didn't want rules, didn't want anyone telling it what to do. So the park keepers had to step in. Sometimes when it got out of control, they'd punish it, isolate it, reduce attention, keep it away from the other dinosaurs. Now it started eating goats, not snacks, berries, or pancakes, but real prey. It grew bigger and stronger, and that park no longer felt like home, more like a shelter. Here comes the terrifying part. The more it felt controlled, the angrier it became. Later in the video, that rage would erupt. But before that, something else happened. The military took interest, because when you have a fully grown T-Rex, you don't just have an animal, you have a weapon.
Now.
So they contacted the park with a deal. They wanted to use it for a mission. At first, it actually worked. They transported it to a battlefield, and for a moment, it seemed to excel unstoppable. It charged enemy vehicles, tore through fortifications, its roar deafening, the ground shaking, soldiers cheering. But then the enemy proved stronger than anticipated. And this is the heartbreaking part. It failed. It was defeated. The world thought that was the end. But the scientists didn't give up, because what they saw wasn't a dead animal, but a project. They named it Project Cyborg.X. They rebuilt it not with nature, but with machinery. They forged a new body for it, metal armor, reinforced legs, a powered spine, even the ability to mutate, starting from its arms until its entire frame was encased in metal armor. They made it faster, stronger, more dangerous, transforming it beyond recognition as a dinosaur. It became a monster, It awoke, wired to machines, surrounded by scientists within a military base. It realized one thing: it was trapped. One day it had had enough. It activated its power, let out a roar, and began attacking the base. It smashed through barriers, crushed tanks like toys, and seized a vehicle in its jaws, hurling it aside. Helicopters arrived, missiles fired, but it just kept charging forward. It demolished walls, gates, watchtowers. When it broke free, the entire base went into emergency mode, alarms blaring, lights flashing, soldiers fleeing in all directions. Yet the cyborg Tyrannosaurus Rex escaped. Now, a cyborg Tyrannosaurus roams the world, and nothing they possess can stop it. Monster go? It would return to the place that felt safe, to the memories that brought it joy. For it, that place was the beach of its childhood. Thus, it traversed the waters, crossed the distance, guided by instinct. One day, people on that beach looked up and saw the outline of something enormous, metallic, and utterly unnatural. At first, some thought it was a prank, some pulled out their phones, some tried to take pictures. And then the cyborg T-Rex stepped onto the sand. It was no longer cute, no longer clumsy, no longer wearing pajamas. It was a walking catastrophe. The moment it spotted the city, it began its advance. It marched forward, obliterating everything in its path. Buildings crushed, cars overturned, lights exploding, people fleeing. Every time the military fired upon it, it pressed onward, for it was not merely strong, it was reinforced, upgraded, born for war, and it was furious. Over the next few hours, the city became ruins, the whole world watching. This wasn't a dinosaur, but something new. The military tried missiles, jets, explosives, nothing worked. Just when it seemed nothing could stop it, something happened. Something that even made the cyborg Tyrannosaurus pause. Through the smoke and dust, another figure emerged. Just an outline, watching, waiting. That's when I realized the cyborg T-Rex might not be the scariest thing out there. This is the entire process of raising a T-Rex as a pet. From an adorable baby to a city-destroying monster,